tag and bag so you don't lose them. I've lost a lot of stuff and it sucks. I got the hinges out. I'm gonna start working on those. I have to repin and bush these. I don't know if anybody's familiar with doing this, but I'm gonna show. I'm not gonna show. I'm just gonna do it and film it, and then. I mean, most of these guys have done this before, but those doors are so heavy over the course of time that the little bushing that rides inside this little pivot point gets worn, so the door sags when you open it. So, and then you have issues with closing the door and chipping paint. So we're gonna be cleaning these up and repinning and rebushing these. So that will be on the agenda for the time being. And oop, missing one. See, I would have been messed up already. Tag and bag, tag and bag. And I usually put tape on the bags, that way you recycle the bag. When you're done with the job, just peel the tape off and you can reuse the bag instead of writing on the bag and have to throw it away. It's a real frugal and cheap way to be, but hey, whatever works. I got my bench vise / tripod bolted in now, so that's good. At least I got something to hold my work when I'm trying to fabricate panels and stuff. So that's that. Wreck fix. Dude, man, I feel wicked bad. But, you know, things happen, and I was watching Darren's video, and he's trying to think maybe it was the reducer. So it probably, most likely, wasn't anything you did, because, I mean, you painted quite a bit. I mean, you just not too long ago did the bumper for that guy, so, and that came out awesome. So it might have been a problem with the product. Hopefully it was. And don't fret about it. Just, you know, get right back into it and get it done. For the most part, the glossy parts on it look real nice. And like I say, don't dwell too much on it, because then when you go to do something else, you're always going to have that in the back of your mind, and that's going to affect you. It's a small little thing. It's little hinges, but I'll be part of it. So I'll start working on that. And I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to start stripping this thing down. I got to pull the spring off. If you guys aren't familiar with it, you go to Harbor Freight or like an AutoZone or something. Either you rent it or you buy it. I mean, it's fairly inexpensive. Essentially, it's the door spring tool. Works pisser. You just slide it in between your spring. Tough doing this with one hand, like so. Make sure it's fitting tight and bottomed out. And then you have a nut here that you got to tighten up. And what it'll do is it'll compress the spring, and then you can pull it out, and then you can work a little bit more freely with it. Same thing, go to reinstall it. Same thing, you just do it in the reverse steps. Compress the spring, set it on, and release it. It should go right back into its little seating. So I'm going to compress this and pull the spring off, and well, see how it goes. Okay, I'm back. I got it all compressed. Now it's just a matter of just pulling the spring out. Got to finagle it a little bit. I'm trying to do this one-handed. This is not working out. I'm looking foolish. Hold on, guys. Okay, it's out. See it? Spring is compressed. Release that. Be careful, gently. Then you can clean the spring out, and then you can clean up inside here if need be. My next step is to punch out this pin. I gotta grind that little weld. It's not a weld. I guess it's a factory thing. When they push the pin in, they have a machine, a punch that actually, it kind of scrapes the side of this pin. Wow, it's looking blurry. And it sort of mushrooms it, and that they use that as a stop so your pin don't pull out. After I grind this out and punch this through, I'm going to use a brass punch so I don't mushroom the top of this thing. It makes it more difficult to get it out, but after I grind this down, I'm going to use a brass punch and punch it out. And when I reinstall it, I actually take my welder and I weld a little bead, kind of like an egg-shaped bead on either side of it as much as I can, and it prevents that pin from popping back out. So that'll be the next step, and then I can have this thing completely apart and I will clean it. Alright. Okay, we got the pin out. I I just ground a little bit of that little tip that that factory, whatever they do, that's kind of like they just press it on. Got a little bit of shiny spot there and there, and here is the old hinge, which is essentially going to fall apart as soon as I loosen up the vise. And there it is. This pot is not a receiver. It doesn't take a bushing. This one does. And if you can see the bushings, focus, my friend. It's not focusing. They're worn. So it was all sloppy play. Was because of this bushing was completely gone. They push in from below and above. But now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this thing, now that it's all apart, and I'm going to clean it up and get it all ready for etch primer. And then I actually went to AutoZone, and that's usually where I get the pin and the bushing, and they don't carry the pin anymore, they just carry the bushing set. And I had a bushing set. It's fits GM and Dodge, and I'm sure you could probably find the one that's suited for this application. But I did order some online that come with the pin because I want a new pin. I'm not going to take a chance on this pin. Like they say, you take something on a flat surface and you roll it, and that might be not true. So there might be a little bit of a bend on this, and I don't want to take a chance on putting a crooked pin back in. But if need be, then I might have to if I can't get the pins. So that one's done. There's the first one. It's all taken apart. Now I have to do the second one, which is this one. But what I like to do is I like to do one at a time. That way I don't confuse the parts, because when it's all apart you get messed up. So we're going to clean one up and temporarily put it back together, and then I'll start on that one. I'll set this one aside, and that way I know I won't confuse the top and the bottom. Alright, so I'm going to pop the pin on this one and see how it goes. Alright, okay guys, I'm going to try to set this thing into the vise. I'm going to try to demonstrate. Problems with these, you got one of those doors, those are really long and really heavy, and what happens is when those bushings wear on them, you get a little bit of I don't know if it's picking it up. See that? You hear that? See that play in the pin? Now you take a door, it may not seem much here, but you take a door that's close to 60 inches long, just that little bit, by the time it gets to the end, you're almost down like a quarter of an inch. So that's, you got to have these things so they're nice and tight, and adjusting it will be a pain if you don't have them tight, because you'll adjust it, close the door, and all of a sudden it's not where you want it to be. So I know a lot of these guys have done this, but for those who haven't, and I apologize ahead of time, this is for those people who really never seen this. And this is like because I had somebody who actually PM'd me about, he's a young guy, he just bought a car and it's got all kinds of problems with it, and he doesn't know where to start. So it will be more catered to people like that. Small things, but the little things are what count and what make it important. So if you can see the play, that's a lot of play. So that's why we're going to repin this and rebush this, so we can eliminate that play and we can get a more stable and better thing to work with when it comes to alignment with the panels and the doors and stuff. Alright, just giving you a heads up. And I don't know if it's picking it up, but you can see what they, this damn camera doesn't want to focus, but you can see the barbs on it. It's almost like they take it and they press it in with a certain machine, and it actually peels some of this pin back and gives you two little edges that won't pop up. But I gotta grind that off and punch it through. So that was just a little heads up on that one. Okay, see you guys. All cleaned up. Waiting on pins and bushings that I ordered. They should be in tomorrow. And someone had asked me about what type of primer that I use, etching primer. I use this brand right here. I usually use the green, but they don't have it in quart anymore. They had it in spray can, and they were out of that, so I went out and got a quart of the black. It's just a different tint on it. It's the same thing, does the same job. It's just the tint is different. All right, so next time you'll see me probably putting these things together and maybe installing them on the car and the door. All right, guys, peace. Take care.